7. Implications for education and freedom. Basic, then, to all cultures and civilizations is an answer to the problem of the one and the many. The fact that this century witnesses an organized philosophical, educational, religious, and practical evasion of the problem makes it only more urgent and our plight more serious. Formal education today is a tool for the systematic destruction of knowledge because it bypasses the basic questions. It is Alexandrian, learned but ignorant, and given to masses of detail without a focus. And as the end of the Middle Ages, the academic world again is plagued by a reign of dunces. A curious footnote to history is the fact that John Duns Scotus, 1266 or 1274 to 1308, the father of the dunces, was followed in his realism by the American Charles Peirce, 1839 to 1914, who influenced James, Dewey, and Royce. But, irrespective of these men, the fact remains that their eras saw a rise of statism because the prevailing thought of the day moved towards an exclusive principle of unity. Duns Scotus indeed tried to give the individual place within the one, but the era as a whole tended either to a mystical absorption of the plurality by the one, or a shattering of all unity by the assertion of the autonomy of the many. In our day, when philosophy, economic theory, psychiatry, and politics question the idea of the soul, and at times even of the mind of man, concepts such as liberty are basically irrelevant. Where is man's freedom in Freud, Marx, Keynes, or Dewey? The upsurge of mass conditioning in this century has spelled the demise of the autonomous man who has been so enthusiastically proclaimed by liberal theorists. Autonomy may still be a reality for the small minority who operate the conditioning process or who manage to escape it. But because the vast bulk of the community passively receives the attitudes which are implanted in them, it is necessary for us to recast our thinking about the individual in politics. If his mind is not his own, the notions which we have inherited from liberal theory must be overhauled or even discarded. Conceptions such as consent, obedience, obligation, leadership, public opinion, representative government, majority rule, and even freedom must take on new meanings. The traditional definitions which spring from liberal theory may perhaps still hold true for those who plan the conditioning of others, but they are gross malaprops for those whose minds are on the receiving end, and this latter group contains the vast majority of us. Such a perspective rests on a doctrine of man which is non-Christian and without any awareness of the Trinitarian answer to the problem of the one and the many. Our anthropology, or doctrine of man, is a product of our theology, our doctrine of God. When the temporal one and many problem is viewed in non-Trinitarian terms, either the anarchistic autonomy of man, the many, is asserted, or the totalitarian reign of the one, the state, or some other total order. The problem cannot be evaded, and to be met, the right questions must first be raised.